This was about 16, 17 years ago. But my brother, myself, and a couple of friends were going out driving around on a country road one night around Jefferson County, Indiana. It was about 2 a.m., and we were heading back to our house when this creature ran in front of our car. It was probably about the same size of a chimpanzee, white fur, long arms with the head shape of a canine. This thing is burned into my mind and my brother's memories, as well as the other two people that was in the car that night. I'm curious to know if anyone have ever seen or heard of anything like that before. I've pored over numerous posts and articles about cryptids and can't seem to find anything that really matches it. Also, weird point, but the way I always described it was as if the mongoose bike mascot from the 90s was a real creature. A lot of people have suggested Dog Man. I don't think it was. This thing was short, maybe 4 foot tall. Like I said, the body's similar to a chimpanzee, very muscular, and could most likely walk bipedal, but while it ran, it was using its arms as another set of legs. Do you guys really think that it's a cryptid? What could it be? Let me know. It was Rural Hill Country, Texas, 2005. We had a couple of acres of land with the majority of the property, pretty much all but the house, the second house, the shed, and the driveway being completely surrounded by trees. I, 5 at the time, got in the back of our family car getting ready to go to the store. My dad was walking from the shed getting ready to take me and my brother, who was 6 at the time. We peek out of the back window looking at our dad as we see from the right side for us a large, skinny, solid white creature with long arms and legs run out bipedal. It ran just past our dad. I was young, so bear with me, but I couldn't have been more than 50 feet away. We watched it run all the way past him directly to our shed where it jumped on all fours and crawled under. It was propped up on concrete bricks, probably about 8 inches maximum. My brother and I returned looks to each other, and in our young age we started crying. We were basically inaudibly crying in a moment, but later on they claimed that they didn't believe us. Almost 20 years later, and my brother and I can still describe full detail to each other how it was relative to the house and the shed and other things. My mother tells me she believes me now. She said creepy stuff happened all the time there. That moment gave me a fear of the outside for a long time. However, if I could, I would like to see it again. I just have to know what it is. I'm from the UK. Me and my girlfriend and dog stayed in the cabin on someone's field in North Devon. The farmer's house was about a minute walk away, but apart from that, it was just fields and country lanes which looked like they didn't get used very often. The cabin is in a field with a fenced-off part for the dog to roam around, freely around 100 yards of space, similar to a football pitch, then in front of an overgrown field with a lake next to it. I've always been scared of looking out the window at night. Always shut my windows and drew the curtains, etc. It was around 2 a.m. when I heard movement outside, quite heavy sounding. I knew there's badgers and deer in the countryside, so I didn't really take any notice until I heard it brush against the cabin. Maybe a deer was sniffing or scratching against the cabin. Then I heard a quiet grunt, but sounded very deep and followed by a breathing sound which was quite fast. Did not sound like a deer, etc. As I couldn't imagine their breathing to be deep and fast. I lay there still trying to make out what it could be that was a couple of yards away from me on the other side of the wooden wall. I heard it walk off around the back of the cabin, then come right back outside of my window. And I mean literally right outside, but I couldn't see anything through the curtains as it was really thick. Then the worst sound I could ever imagine happened, tapping on my window. This did not sound like anything I've ever heard. It sounded like whatever was tapping a window was really hard, like what tapping a knife on glass would sound like. I literally froze and put the blanket in my mouth to make my breathing quiet. It tapped again, then nothing for a few seconds before I heard the kitchen window get tapped, then the bathroom window. I knew this wasn't a dream because I near enough had a panic attack and was sweating. It stopped after the bathroom window, and I heard it running away, followed by a screeching sound in the distance getting further and further away. After that, I just laid there still, not wanting to move or make a sound. It was like it came over just to be nosy and see what was what. That was the most terrifying episode that I've ever faced. I don't know what it was, who it was, what they wanted, but all I know, I was terrified. Did anybody have any ideas what this could have been? Let me know. Not sure how to start this, so I'll just jump right into it. First of all, I've done a bit of Googling that ended me up here, but I'm not generally very good at this, so sorry if I'm in the wrong spot. I live in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon specifically in the valley without being too specific, and I do live in a town that's not too far away from the woods. It was late August, and I had the house to myself for the week, so perhaps an overactive imagination contributed, but either way, I think about the whole situation often. I had done my chores for the evening and was about to take a shower when I had the feeling that I hadn't locked the door, so I ran out to check, and as I was doing so, I caught a look at something outside my window. It looked as if it was human and was crouched down outside my window, except it was all white with no recognizable features and appeared to be crouched down outside of my house. It would have been quite tall as I live in a manufactured home, and so the windows are probably about 3 to 4 feet off the ground. I saw a head and shoulders and didn't notice any movement, but it was definitely out of place and spooked me a little, so I locked the door and went back to the shower. It was around 11 at night. The majority of the light was coming from inside of the house. There's a street light outside of my house, but it would have been mostly blocked by the small tree in the yard. As I was about to step in the shower, I heard a couple of thumps on the roof and then a short pause, and then a sound at the door. There are 2 doors to my bathroom, one in the hallway, and one to the laundry room where the back door is located, so it's very close. Now, as someone who has seen a scary movie or two, you know you're gonna die in the shower, so I put my clothes back on, checked all of the windows and doors to make sure they were locked, brought my cats into my room, closed the door, and laid down with my toes under my covers. The next day when I left, there was nothing in the spot that I could have seen. The only thing even close was a small statue that we have, but it was nowhere near the right size to have been seen from the angle I was at, even if it was in the right spot. I'm probably crazy, but I've had a few other experiences with the paranormal in my life, and it's enough to at least say it keeps me curious. So, am I in the right place or not? Let me know. Good evening, everyone. This is Yuri K, and this is the end of the video. Please leave a comment and let us know your opinions on the matter. If you happen to like this content, please check out our other videos. Make sure you like and share amongst your friends and family to help our community grow. You happen to be new to this channel? Please make sure you subscribe. It's free, and you can always change it in the future. You have some terrifying story suggestions? If so, make sure that you send it to my email, fearofthedarkstories@gmail.com, and I'll feature it in a future segment. But you guys stay safe out there, and remember to always be afraid of the dark.